Welcome to Meet the Candidates. The Frankfort Plant Board is allowing us an opportunity to bring the candidates in here so we can talk to them a little bit about the issues and what they would hope to accomplish for our community. And I want to remind you, too, that on April 26th, we're going to be having a candidate forum down at the hotel. And please write down on your calendar that you need to stay tuned to us for live coverage of the primary election results. We're going to be broadcasting those from the county clerk's office, I hope, and we'll let you have those vote tallies just as soon as they come to us. So now is our opportunity to meet James Bo Sutherland, and I'm so glad you could get in here to the studios with us. We need to know a little bit more about you, so if you'd tell our viewers who you are and what your function is in the community and why in the world are you willing to tackle a responsibility of this nature?
I've had that question thrown to me while I've been walking. Why are you doing this? Well, my name is James Bo Sutherland. A lot of people know me as Bo. I've been in the community my whole life. Every job I've ever had has been in this community. Haven't had that many. I'm a retired state employee from the Legislative Research Commission. I currently own, along with my sister and my wife, Elkhorn Campground here in Frankfort out Georgetown Road. We've had that business since 2001. We've been very busy with it. We're second generations. And people have asked me, why are you running now? Well, to be honest, I wanted to run 4 years ago, but I lost my mom suddenly in 2012. And at that time, my dad was diagnosed with dementia. And so we had our hands full. We moved Dad out with us, and we took care of him, and he passed away 2 years ago. So now's the time.
Well, in case I have neglected again to mention it, you are running for a seat on the fiscal court from District 3.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll clearly establish.
Yeah, District 3. Yeah, District 3. But now's the time. 4 years ago, like I said, I was wanting to run. But now it's even more because we're going to have several issues down the road that we're going to have to contend with. One is pensions. The Civic Center is foremost on my agenda. I want to see it, not being put off toward the back burner. I want it, if we're going to do, downtown revitalization, I want to make sure that the Civic Center or Convention Center is at the top of that list. I think it needs to be done.
Which brings me to several questions that I've been hearing talked about in the community, and that is, do you think there needs to be something of the same size, a greater size, a lesser size? What type of facility are you looking as being ideal? I'm
looking at something that would, I do RV shows every year around northern part of the country, within a 2-hour radius of here. And all those convention centers are all tied into a hotel. I mean, every one of them are tied into a hotel. And they seat our organization, the National RV Campgrounds Association has a national meeting every year all over the country. But those seat, the main room is like, 3,000 or 4,000 people with tables and chairs. Am I looking for an arena? It would be a plus, I think, because you'd get the NAI, which we've lost. You get the, well, I don't know if you'll still have the AAUs after all the mess that they've been going through, but you had AAUs, you've had the state tournaments, district tournaments for the girls and the boys here. So I'm leaning more towards a meeting type facility that would have outskirt rooms around it, and then one main room that would house everybody, to where they could break off and go into more meetings into smaller rooms, or classrooms, more like classrooms that maybe seat anywhere from 25 to 50 people. But then again, it has to have a high enough ceiling, because I can envision having, again, I'm familiar with this part of it, RV shows, things like that could be brought in, smaller versions of RV shows, because they are out there. Most of the ones that I do are smaller RV shows. I don't do the big ones like they have in Louisville and Lexington. But the last one I done drew like 20,000 people, and it was a smaller, venue. So, over a 4-day period. So, that's what I'm looking at. Am I open to, maybe a basketball arena too? Possibly. I'm not convinced on one area, but that's my strong point, because that's what I'm familiar with.
Do you see any particular potential for funding this type of thing?
That's where I'm kind of confused in this whole process right now. Everything is being based from the city standpoint, but I haven't heard, personally, I haven't heard how this is going to be funded. Is the city going to be partners? Is the county going to be partners with the city in this? I don't know. And if it, then you get to the question, if we are, what benefit is it going to be? Because most of the cities are most of the hotels are in the city. So, they're going to be getting all of the, the hotel tax and all of that. So, there's some issues that that I'm not familiar with, that I know of, that has been brought up, that, I would be concerned with. And then I'm look at, if the hotel's going to be tied into it, maybe we need to be talking to the Capitol Plaza Hotel to see what their envision is. With them being a hotel down there, maybe somehow because it has to be connected, I think, to a hotel, to where you can walk without going outside or anything. Or that's what I envision. That's what I've seen. Everything's inside. So, there's still a lot of questions that I have that I can't answer, because I haven't read anything about how this is all going to be paid for. I would be comfortable with a private, county or city, partnership, to have it built. But then again, to get the developers in, you've got to have something around to help support that. So then that's where the streetscape comes in, where bring, more people and everything. I went to the first meeting, and a lot of ideals are out there. A lot of ideals. They're going to have their hands full on, narrowing it all down and getting it all together. So it's a wait and see, but again, I don't want to wait 5 years.
You alluded to the pension crisis, and you have discussed obliquely some of the budget things. Have you had a chance to review the fiscal court's budget, and do you have a feeling for where we might make some changes? Have you had an opportunity to determine your own feelings about the impact that this pension crisis is going to have?
Well, you're looking at the, federal government just passed the budget last year, because they lost their primary care for health care. So they went with, I believe it was United Health. That cost them another $131,000 that they had to come up with. You take that coupled with, right now the way the pension plan stands for the state, that affects, all county governments, is right now the projected cost for Franklin County alone is close to $1 million. So I haven't looked at budget figures or anything like that, but that's where money's, we're going to have to figure out, how we're going to save money to do that. Now, I've tossed around in my brain. I haven't looked at numbers or anything, and I'm not set on one way or the other, but, Middletown, the outskirts of Louisville, Middletown is looking at combining, their fire departments to save money on pensions. Am I for that? I don't know. I would have to look at the figures and see what we could, do. Is that something we can do? I don't know why we can't. The city ambulance service serves the county, so I don't know why it couldn't be done. But again, you got to look at all the parameters of what it would affect and who it would affect. Yeah, I mean, there's some things out there we can do to probably save some money. But again, on face value, it looks good. But when you get into the meat of it, it may not be worth it.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you talk about setting your priorities in there within the budgetary constraints, what do you think we need to be looking at first? What is our first concern?
We need more economic growth. We have to find ways of getting more business into the county. My first primary concerns are District 3, because those are the families that's going to put me, hopefully they'll put me in office. Mm-hmm. Those are my primary concerns first. Everybody talks about, government and everything, district court and everything, but in order to get to district court, you got to get through your district first. And so for me, District 3 is my utmost concerns, the people in District 3. And then they elect me to come down there to represent all of Franklin County and them. But my number one things, my major one concerns right now are pensions and the Civic Center. How are we going to fund it? What are we going to build? Those are my two main concerns right now.
Do you have any thoughts on the best way to approach expanding our economic base of getting new business growth in here? What do we do to make that happen?
We have to show community pride, and right now, I feel like it's split. With all the turmoil with the Frankfurt Plant Board, and county's got their issues, city has their issues.
Well, now that brings me to another question that I wanted to make sure I brought up for you. What is your thought on the need for county involvement in the Frankfurt Plant Board? Should we have a representative from the county serving on the Frankfurt Plant Board?
I would. Yeah, I mean, I'm on Frankfurt Plant Board and I'm in the county. I have, close to 80, 80 hookups out there. So yes, I mean, I would want somebody from the county. But then you get into their statutes and all that stuff. That's something that, the city would have to agree to. I mean, we just can't say we want one on there next month. I mean, I think they have to rewrite some of their statutes and regulations in order for to have a county representation on the board. But I think in the long run, I think the city would honor that request from the county. But again, I can't speak for them.
Another thing that came to my attention, I was oblivious to it until just recently when I was asked about it. What is your stand on expanding Sunday alcohol sales?
I don't really, I don't know. that's a self-conscious decision from the people of District 3. I would vote however they would want me to vote. Right now, I don't think there's a need for that. As the, once we get a convention center started and all that, then, you may have to revisit that. But again, that would have to be something that would have to be probably decided on before we even started looking for a private slash county city involvement in building the convention center, because alcohol sales is important to a lot of people. So, am I against it or for it? I'm neutral until what the people of District 3 tells me, how they feel about it. Mm-hmm. If they say, no, we don't want it, then that's where I'll vote. But, at the end of the day, it's the voice of the District 3.
You alluded to it, and I neglected to pursue the issue of the Frankfort's Kentucky distilled branding campaign for promoting the community. Do you think the county should be involved in that? And if so, in what ways do you think would be effective? Yes, I think, I'm all for jumping on the bandwagon with the bourbon industry. I would think we would need to support them, any way we can. Financially, if we can afford it, we need to do that. Because me being in the tourist end of it, I see how many people just comes through my campground just for the Bourbon Trail. When I go and do RV shows, that's my number one push, is to let them know that, we're, I call it two ends of the Bourbon Trail. We're on one end, Bardstown's on the other. And I tell people, if you stay, in Frankfort, you're in the heart of, at least 5 distilleries within 20 miles of it. And then you have to drive another 70 to catch the other end. But I get people from Canada. I get them from all over the country. Canada is a big draw for the Bourbon Trail, based on, the people that we have that comes through the campground. But yeah, I send them to Buffalo Trace and, of course, Rebecca Ruth, because they're the inventor of the bourbon bottle. They go hand in hand. That's what I tell them. They go hand in hand. But yes, I think the county needs to get on board more, because that is a huge draw for this community. It is. How long will it last? Nobody knows. But, you jump on the bandwagon and ride as long as you can. Do you see other issues that are facing District 3 in particular, but the county as a whole, for all that goes, that you need to address and that you personally want to go after? Well, I'm looking, I want to make sure we're physically responsible in what we're going to be doing down the road with the pension systems and the convention center, because I really want this convention center built soon, not later. I want it built soon. Naturally, we can't start on it till they finish, the state office building. But we can sure get the plans drawn up and get what we want, get the financing, get the people involved, and be ready to go when the state, ultimately says, okay, you can take over now. You can do this. That's when they tell us that, or when they deed the land back, that's when I want to start. That's where I want to be at. I don't want to wait till they give it to us and then another 2 years we got plans up and everything. Why can't we have this now? Why can't we have it ready, now? And then, of course, the pension crisis. We don't know how the actuaries are going to come out. I'm hearing from some good friends from around that, they're looking at doing a phase-in for the counties, actuaries, when they, whatever figures they come up with, instead of a lump sum coming due July 1st. I'm hearing they're talking about doing a phase-in, which, where you won't have to come up with all that money at one time.
So that would be a good thing. But we're going to have the money down the road. So, you know, those are major concerns, because I'm a pensioner. So, you know, I'm drawn from the, you know, from the state's pension system. So those are some major concerns for me and my family. You know, we've got the campground, but, you know, that pension, you know, that we've earned, that we were promised, I want to make sure it's all there, you know, and that we do our share to keep it. So those are my concerns. So.
Are there issues that, in my ignorance, I have failed to bring to the attention of the viewers here, or is there something that you would like to say to our viewers of what you consider to be the things most important for you to focus on?
The most important thing for me to focus on is the people in District 3, because they're ultimately the ones that I'm going to be speaking for. I plan on running, if elected, I plan on running questionnaires every month, you know, for the people in District 3 to get back to me on how you feel about the issues that are coming up, or, you know, what would you like to see done? Because ultimately, it's not what I feel in my heart or, you know, or in my mind. It's what the people of District 3 says, you know, this is the way, you know, we'd like for you to go. I envision doing, you know, outreach, community outreach, trying to bring the community back together. I think there's a split right now, and there's a lot of people that's based on the little poll they done down there at the first streetscape meeting. You know, people are having a hard time, you know, having trust in the leadership that they have. And I'm no here or there to say one way or the other, but, you know, if you feel that way, you know, it's time for change. Of course, our incompetence not running this time, so the people of District 3's got four candidates, 3 Democrats and a Republican that's running. So, you know, they get to decide who they want to represent them. And I'm just here to let them know that I'm your voice. I'm not the voice of physical court to you. You're my voice to physical court.
I appreciate you coming in and sharing those thoughts with us.
Thank you.
I think this goes a long way toward us helping to understand who is Bo Sutherland.
Well, I appreciate you inviting me. I mean, this is a good forum for to get the word out, because there's several other ideals out there by other candidates that I'm sure are worth dwelling into.
Well, we do appreciate your cooperation in that, and I want you to be able to look right into that camera and tell those viewers why you're the best candidate and why they should vote for you for District 3 on fiscal court.
Okay. For the families of District 3, I've lived in District 3 since 2001. My parents has been there since 1987. We own a business in District 3, and I feel like that I can represent you. I have dealings with all of the departments in physical government throughout the year, from the health department all the way up to the state's divisions of water. I will be your voice to physical court, not physical court's voice to you. I will be, if elected, I will be sending out questionnaires in the state journal or to your house on the issues that are coming up, on what you think we need to do. And I will vote your way, not my way. And my family and I hope to see you out on the campaign trail. So far we've been out. I've had one of my family's members with me every time, because it's a family thing. I'm a real good family. We are a good family to represent you. And I hope to have your vote on May the 22nd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to remind you that we've just had an opportunity to talk with Bo Sutherland, and to remind you to stay alert to the Candidates Forum on April 26th, probably down at the hotel. And then be sure that you know to tune in to us for our live broadcast of election returns on May the 22nd. We'll be bringing those numbers to you from the county clerk's office, and we'll share them as soon as we have them available. And in the meantime, I would like to urge you to come back to meet the candidates.